Ahoy hoy, it's Captain Average here from Sarcastic Gamer. I'm with the lovely chaps in charge of MotorStorm Apocalypse. I've got Matt and Paul with me. So first of all, thanks for doing the interview, guys. And we've just sat through the dev session, having a look at the game. Pre-alpha code that looks fantastic. Now, obviously it's quite a crowded market there with the racing games, but there's things in MotorStorm Apocalypse that are trying to do things a bit differently, and particularly I was interested about the meta games. So what is that and how does that work?
Well, we'll both answer this. Rushy can talk about it a little bit more in terms of kind of drilling deep into the design, but for us the metagame just means that the most successful games now offer incredible second by second interaction, particularly kind of action-based arcade type games and especially racing games, which is really exciting, really gets the adrenaline flowing. But when you finish the race, you really need something extra to feel that it was worthwhile, that it's satisfying, that it's rewarding, and that there's something even cooler coming next. And we feel that that was something we could get a lot better at. When we used to make rally games, we kind of had the meta game for us on a plate. We had a rally season, so we knew where you'd go next. We knew what you stood to win when you completed the race with the best time. And then over the course of 2 or 3 versions of MotorStorm now, we're looking to get a lot more flattering across the entire experience. So that means when you finish a race, you take a massive deep breath at how exciting the experience was, but then you've got XP, vehicle unlocks, motion comics to unlock, the next tracks to unlock, and various elements to use in the recreation mode, which stands outside a single-player festival. So the metagame is the entire game from start to end, and we're hoping that it's just as good as the individual races.
And do kind of like the unlocks and the perks you get from the single-player, do they carry across to multiplayer as well?
Do you want to say?
Yeah, basically what we do with the whole metagame, perks, unlocks, etc., you earn experience for every action you do, whether it's drifting, whether it's getting airtime, whether it's wrecking other opponents. Every action you do, you get rewarded. And with those experience points, you go through the ranks and you unlock new vehicles, you unlock new perks. And these perks allow you to tailor the way you race. You know, if you like to play in a combative style, well, turn on the perks which, you know, enable you to do that. You know, put on a big rig, put on a perk that allows you to smash people out of the way as if they're not even there, and, you know, really play to your strengths when playing online.
So, but that always, certainly in Call of Duty, which I realise this is kind of the driving world, taking a bit of a kind of leaf out of that book, which is, you know, very much the dumb thing in this day and age. It would be so unfortunate not to have that, because it's all about what multiplayer is now. But certainly with the Call of Duty games, there have been problems with balancing when you get kind of, you know, perhaps somebody bought the game a month after launch, getting owned by kind of some people who, you know, they're clearly dedicated to the game. I wouldn't say they should go outside more, but they're clearly very dedicated and have all the high-level unlocks. Does that present a real challenge for you guys when balancing a game such as this?
It does, but it's also a major priority. I feel that there's still tons of gamers that don't really bother with online, because you do get humiliated, you do get destroyed very quickly, and you lose the will to play online. Yeah. I'm one of those gamers. So very much the direction from me was, I want to make this accessible, whether offline or on. And even if you're struggling online, you'll still get rewarded, and there'll be opportunities for people who are better than the game at you to show you how it's done and support you.
Yeah, balancing is a headache. We've always had that since MotorStorm 1. You know, 8 vehicles, multi-route races. How do you balance that across all these tracks that we've got? And now we've added in more vehicles and the perks on top of that. And yeah, it's tricky, but we've got data and telemetry tools in-house where we track the stats and details, so we can analyse which perks are more beneficial to the players. And then we've got an internal beta coming up and then a closed beta soon, so we'll get real players playing it, and then we'll, you know, get some feedback from that and we'll go from there. We're currently at this stage now where perks will offer you a big advantage. Obviously, if you've been playing for a long time into the game, you will have all the best perks available to you. And now it's really difficult to really combat against that. So what we've done, we've introduced wagering, or as Matt said, betting. So it's not always about beating the top player, the elite player, the player that you know you're not going to beat. So pre-race, every race, you get the option to bet on the player you think you can beat. So you'll be able to see what their rank is, what perks they have, you know, what sort of experience they have inside the game. You think, well, I reckon I can beat him. And if you beat him, you then get rewarded with more experience. And what we do, if you double down, so, you know, next race, you think, yeah, I'll bet again. You get a multiplier. And that means you can earn even more experience if you want to risk the current stuff that you've just won.
Always good to have a high-octane, highly mobile branch of Ladbrokes following you around when you're doing some racing. So kind of what kind of community features do you see coming? And I understand it's through the MotorStorm VIP website. So tell us a little bit about more how that's going to work and interface with the game.
Well, we rolled it out for Pacific Rift, the VIP site. Kind of very early days, we were still finding our feet. We are really lucky. We've got a very loyal bunch of guys that play MotorStorm and have stuck with us, even when we've really upset them and annoyed them. So we've kind of learned the hard way for the best way to work, taken on a community manager, had him mentored and trained by the guys who run the community for Little Big Planet, took a good look at the way that a creative aspect and an ability to extend the life of the game by being creative is really important to the community. Took a close look at the criticisms they've made of our previous games and tried to really bring it all into play for when we roll out Apocalypse. It is really important to us, and it's great to meet and talk to fans today for the first time since we've announced the game, and to hear that enthusiasm. So yeah, we've got a website where you can upload vehicle designs and brand new modes, multiplayer modes that you can create from scratch and have others improve and share, and then we'll incorporate them into the tournaments if they're proving to be really popular. We've kind of, again, we've gone on a difficult learning curve, and now we think we're ready to kind of support people in the way that they're hoping we can.
And kind of, obviously the comparison one wants to draw is a little bit kind of, although it's not going to be map editing, kind of Forge in Halo, where you could create your own set and win conditions. And also there's a lot of kind of, I know there's scripted events in the single player game, but where like buildings are falling over and stuff like that, can you incorporate that into your game types?
This is something that we're currently looking at. As it stands, we've got a very simple icon-based interface where you basically choose a set of actions and then you choose what the reactions are. So if you want to say, well, if one player picks a bike, and if that bike comes into contact with any vehicle, you can have that vehicle explode. Right. Or you can have someone, whoever's in first place, their boost gets disabled. You can set up these very simple rules, chain them all together to create something really complex, and create hopefully modes which we won't have been expecting, and maybe even better than the ones that we ship on the disc as well.
Well, I for one, I'm a bit of a racing game nut, so I'll be picking this up day one. Really looking forward to it. Sounds really exciting. So that's MotorStorm Apocalypse coming out around about, well, Q1 2011, maybe March, but we don't know for definite. So thank you guys. And I've been Captain Average. You've been watching Sarcastic Gamer, and toodle bye.